atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger, ready to move out.
It's Clobberin time! It's Clobberin time!
No bloody A, B, C, or D.
Get those nerds! 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 What? It's Clobberin time! Clobberonimo!
Hey. Welcome, my dear friends. Welcome, clobberers, clobberettes, clobberonis, clobberonimos, clobber them all, I say. Clobberin Times, issue number 548 on YouTube, 1,248 overall. One sub away from 1,500, if that's a big deal or not. I don't know. It'll probably lose more anyway, but we'll see. And, Monday night Mark C. Comics Talk. And my superhero of the day is the great Dave Bot. Hey, buddy. Because I also hate P Hard Season 3. I'm glad there are at least a few of us, buddy. I'm glad there are at least a few of us. Not many. Not many of us holding that line, bro. But I don't know what's wrong. We're in Invasions of the Body Snatchers time right now, buddy. Just you and me, David. Well, there are a couple other friends. And hey, I love people who do. I'm not mean to people who like it. Just don't understand. That's all. But anyway, tonight we're going to be talking about something I love. Tonight is a talk for love. Now, later after the show, I might name a couple of episodes that I don't love so much. But for the most part, we're talking love. And yes, speaking of love, a big shout out to the great Mark D. Well, the great Mark D with a C. He's busy watching a game, but we do love him too. I meant the Mark C, of course. The great Mark C from our show is always and perpetually will be named after here on Monday Night Mark C Comic Talk. Sorry about that. I had to mute there. Anyway, so gonna have fun tonight. It's fun to talk about things that you love. I mean, it can be fun to talk about anything. I mean, I have a lot. People think I always like to talk about things that I don't love, but not always. I hear you, Victor. I hear you. But tonight, it'll be that. It'll be a love fest. And hello there, Lady Miss. In fact, I'll shout out everybody out in a second. Just quick show notes are the usual this week. Tomorrow night. By the way, tomorrow evening or tomorrow afternoon, I think Mark D is going to be doing an unboxing, a special unboxing, but I'm not sure. He'll let us know if he pops by later. So we'll see tomorrow night, Tuesdays and Thursday nights at Midnight Edge After Dark. Excuse me, with Tom and that great august group there for those pop culture commentators there. Wednesday nights, of course, I'm always when he has it at my good buddy Loki's channel for the Comic Book Roundtable. 7 Eastern for that. Excuse me, 7 Central. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. 7 Central, and of course Wednesday nights. Wild Card Wednesday night for here on Clobberin Times, and then Thursday nights Clobby's Clubhouse with Raquel and Mark Thursday nights, of course, again, 9 p.m. Central. Friday nights at my good buddy Nick Weiser's channel, 8:30 Central for the Friday Night Comic Shop Gang. And then, of course, as always, Saturday Night Star Trek, 9 p.m. Central, reviewing now, of course, season 6 of the Deep Space Nine. Now, let me tell you what, we'll do our shout-outs, and we'll get rolling here. As always, the great wrenches get shouted out, whether they happen to be here or not. The great Eric K. runs the Bronze Wrencher. What's up, buddy? The great Chris Persia, Vindicated Wrench of the North. D. Bud Martin, the Wrench of Iron. I think I saw Lord Thoth. Are you here, buddy? Man, I think I saw you pop in. The God of Wrenching, Lord Thoth, and shout out to his lovely better half, Lady Thoth. And Avon lives, and long live the Legion, buddy. The great J-Man, my partner in crime on Earth B, and we're going to have a visit to Earth B very soon. Again, our monthly visit to Earth B is coming up. He is the Wrench Without Fear. Thank you for being here, buddy. There's Hungry Boy. Excuse me. Artist Supreme, Master of the Clobberin, painter of the cover of Science Fiction Tales by R.M. Briggs. The great Kal-El, Super Wrench Supreme, and Maddie's daddy, the wielder of Wrench Mjolnir, Thor in Vegas, and of course the Fanty Outsidey, that old rascal Wrencher. And there we go. And I'm going to turn my chat back now so I can say hello to the rest of you wonderful friends who have joined us tonight before we get it rolling. I see, yep, Thoth was there, and J-Man and Eric, all my great friends. Brian Hepburn, hello there, Brian. Excuse me, good to see you, buddy. Let's see here. Dave Bob, all right, my friend. Always great to see you, buddy. Thanks for popping in. We got to stick together, you and I, man. Stick together and stand fast on this. John Shaggy, Rookie, Rupus, hey there, John. Victor Fontaine, thanks for being here. Let's see here. Lady Mist, always nice to have a lovely lady in the house. I hope you were doing well, my dear. Let's see. I'm getting messages from people. Sorry, I didn't turn my phone off. Matthew Pounder, what is up, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Great to see you. A world made of cardboard. All right. Great to see you. Thank you for being here. I think we've seen you before, but it's been a while, but it's great to see you. Jeff Morris. Hey there. Hey, what's up, Dave G Sound? Hey there, man. Good to see you. What a great crowd we've got already here tonight. It's amazing. I got to turn this damn phone notifications off, don't I? Because I should have done that beforehand like I always do. But I didn't do it. I forgot it. Just like I forgot to put it on the damn charger. Let me do that while we're sitting around here. All right, so, hey, Latino Slant, the great Latino Slant, my good buddy Paulie, one of the first pals I ever made here on YouTube. Hey, man, what's up, buddy? And by the way, he will, he doesn't do a lot comics related or stuff like that, but I think tomorrow night you have a big Blue Beetle stream, don't you? There was the Blue Beetle trailer drop today, and I think Paulie. By the way, any of my friends in there, you should already be subscribed to Paulie, the great Latino Slant channel. In the case you're not, though, he is his link is in my description below, and if any of the mods want to put his link up there, I do appreciate that. Thank you. Minimus is here. There's Minimusness. So Justice League Unlimited, same show, really. I just dearly love this show. Now, again, and it's interesting because my origin with it is somewhat problematic, as the kids might say, because I started out not wanting to watch it. When the show debuted, I suppose it was 2003 or 4, somewhere up in there. I was already a huge fan of Batman the Animated Series by, of course, Bruce Timm, and Paul Dini and those guys, and Alan Burnett and all those guys. I had a lot of issues, however, with Superman the Animated Series. I ironed most of them out later, and I do like it now, but by the time I did not like it, and at the time when this was announced, I was like, it takes place in that same universe, I guess. Looked like it. Which, of course, we don't know does. It does. And I was not thrilled with not having Hal Jordan. He's a founding member of the My Justice League that I love. I wasn't thrilled with the roster at the time. In the comic book, I was not thrilled with the roster. But, I mean, so that I didn't really look at it when it first started running. And, you know, it was very acclaimed, this cartoon. So you had to hear, you know, a lot. You had to hear a lot of people, obviously, you know, rightly so, singing its praises. And I believed them. I mean, they were all credible people. But at first, you know, it was just something. I didn't like the roster, and I was going to stick by that. I was like, why? What? You know, I want my group the way I want them. Welcome, Grimdark. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. So, I was a bit obstinate about it, but eventually, a few years later, I caved in and I watched them, and you know, with the exception here or there, just really, really liked them. And now I've watched them so many times, I love them. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've binged this show, or how many times I've you know, just watched. I can throw a random episode on and love it. This is, as far as a conglomeration of superheroes together, this is probably the greatest of superhero cartoon ever made. Outside of Batman, the animated series, Batman, the Brave and the Bold, those are the ones that make me the happiest, probably. And, of course, I love these 90s Fantastic Four, second season Fantastic Four cartoon. But as far as, you know, a fair list was like 91-something episodes, although there were some multi-parters, a lot of multi-parters. It was called Justice League at first. When it managed to continue after its first 2 seasons, of course, we all know it got 3 more shorter seasons. They just added the more unlimited to it and added to the roster, but it's the same continuity. It's the same show with some additions made. So I just call it Justice League, but it is Justice League / Justice League Unlimited. And it's brilliant. I mean, there are only maybe 1 or 2 episodes I have a lot of problems with. I mean, I have criticisms of anything, as you know. You know, I believe in critical thought, and I'll always be aggravated by not having Hal Jordan in the GL lead, or at least acknowledge that he was there first. However, this show, Jon Stewart is terrific. I believe it's Phil Lamar who does his voice on the show. Or if I'm not mistaken. Oh yeah, Paulie. Look, man, this show's so good, dude. I just rewatched it again for like the umpteenth time just last month, and it is. I mean, it's scary good. I mean, it's amazing how well written this show is. One of its most popular episodes is probably the only one I hate, but I'm not gonna get into that. Tonight's about love, and when I tell you, it was tough to boil this down to 25 episodes and rank them. I'll tell you something. If anyone says, hey, how could that episode be so low or whatever, because we probably all have our favorite episodes and differences on those. Let me tell you something. If it's in my top 25, I love it. I mean, I don't love episode like 12 that much more than episode 17 in my ranking, meaning. If it's in this top 25, I love it. And the ones that are there, I got some honorable mentions later that were brutal to leave out of the top 25. It wasn't easy, but I went by what appeals to me more as a story and such. The voice acting, the voice casting by Andre Romano on Batman the Animated Series, Superman, and this is so brilliant. The great actors they had coming in and out of there doing voices on this brilliant show. This is top-notch stuff here. And what's great about it, it is superheroes, and yet kids can watch it. You don't have that anymore with superheroes very, very often. They've ruined animation. DC's ruined their animation department. But this one, you can let a very young kid watch it, and you get the superheroes. It's got that Bruce Timm, that sleek and simplistic animation style. It does not appeal to everyone, but I love it. It works. And yet the stories are just so intelligent. There's some episodes of this show that are top-notch, like original Trek level writing, because they're very inspired by Star Trek, and that's not hyperbole on my part. This show, it's just great. So I'm going to get into it in a second. You start counting down my episodes. And after I get done, if any of you are fans of the show who have if you can just throw out a couple, you can please, of course, comment on my selections. But after that, I want to hear about your favorite episodes you would have put on the list that I may not have or whatever. Claude Salling, what's up? Because I'm very excited about this topic. I mean, I know no one really cares about these list countdown shows and stuff like that, but I always have fun. And I would have asked someone, if our dear friend Mark C were still with us, we would have already done this a long time ago because we planned to. We did a show together about superhero cartoons, and we would have done this show a long time ago. It's tough to ask somebody to go do their research to do a countdown with you like this. You know what I mean? I wasn't going to impose upon anyone. Say, hey, you like that show? Go watch them all. Make sure you're up to speed on them, and then pick your 25. People have things to do, so I didn't really impose on anyone. I just decided, in honor of the great Mark C, I'd wing it on my own. But I really do love these list shows where we can talk about the things we love, and that's what tonight is. This show is always, look, I bitch about a lot of things, and there are a lot of things I can't stand. As you know, I'm the grumpy old geek on the porch, but and the get off my lawn old geek. But tonight let's talk about something that I love anyway. And again, I combined the episodes together, whether it was from the first 2 seasons of Justice League or the last 3 seasons of Justice League Unlimited. They're all the same show, same continuity, and they follow each other. So, and some of them are 2-parters. I'm going by story, by the way. Even if it were a 2-parter, for example, if I put an episode up there, I'm just going to say it was a 2-parter, but it's still one story to me. So that's how it gets one ranking, just to let you know the rules. So here we go. Tonight, let's get started with Clobby's top 25 favorite episodes of Justice League / Justice League Unlimited. Let us start with number 25. And entry number 25 is Question Authority. I was never... Okay. This might be, if I'm thinking, and I haven't really thought about it, now that I think about it, maybe one of the few that was involved in the Cadmus storyline. I think this one kind of kicks off the Cadmus storyline. This is the one, but anything with, look, Jeffrey Combs is so, you can hear me say this a lot, Jeffrey Combs is so brilliant as the Question that sometimes I pick an episode just because he was in it, but this one kind of kicks off the Cadmus storyline a little bit. And frankly, I'm not too big. I've learned this about myself by picking these episodes. While the Cadmus Cadmus saga was pretty good, it was well done. It's not, when it comes to superhero universes, it's not really my bag. That kind of story where it's all about the government paranoia about superheroes. If you remember the Cadmus story. And so, and I'll just, not to go back into hate for a second, but I hated what I don't want to get anything started. So there was an episode that kind of triggered all this early on in the older series that I don't like very much. Let's put it like that. But let's stick with love. So this is I think this is the only one of the, pretty sure, now that I think about it, the only one of the Cadmus saga that is in my list. And the Cadmus saga is good and all that stuff. But one of my least favorite things about superhero stories and universes, I know we're stuck with them now, because of things like Marvel's Civil War and other things that Marvel and DC have done over the years, is the whole government against the superheroes type thing, and the government and the distrust of superheroes. We're stuck with that. Writers, cynical writers, even in a show like this, which is a good show, and yes, A World Made of Cardboard. It is the episode where that's true, where Luther's pretending to run for president, unlike in the dumb comic book where he really did become president. He said, do you have any idea how much power I would have to give up to become president? Yeah. Yes, exactly right. This is that episode. This is where the Question is starting to question certain things about the Justice League. He is a member of the League on the satellite, but he finds a file. The Question finds a file that that's buried in that Luthor has basically let slip the secret of the Justice Lords and what the Justice Lords do, and he becomes terrified that Superman is gonna it's the same thing that's gonna happen on their Earth that happened with the Justice Lords. For those who don't know, that's a reference to episodes that in the first season, but everyone has probably seen that one. Well, that's all you need to really know. And anyway, Cadmus, Luthor turns question over to Cadmus, and Huntress gets Superman, who she's already been kicked out of the league, actually, in a previous episode that we'll talk about. She goes to get Superman to try to rescue him from Cadmus, and he ends up, unfortunately, the military has co-opted Captain Atom, so Supes and Captain Atom has a big fight, and when Huntress and Superman go to capture, to rescue the Question. So this starts off the Cadmus storyline. Not my bag, but a lot of people like it. Let's go to episode 24. My number 24. This little piggy. This episode did a lot of these were my kind of favorite episodes, the weird, the off the off the wall episodes. Circe comes back and wanting revenge on Wonder Woman's mother, Hippolyta. Unbeknownst to her, of course, Wonder Woman and Batman are on some kind of parole, and Circe shows up. Hey, Dave, good to see you. And puts a spell on Wonder Woman, turning her into a pig. That's right. Hey, it's a comic book. It's a cartoon. Well, Batman, of course, loses her and has to go find her all throughout the city. That's right. That's true, Fanty. 66 stories. That's right. But man, still tough to pick 25. To single out 25. Batman, of course, and he enlists the help of Zatanna with her magical abilities to help find Piggy Wonder Woman. Oh yeah, Victor. I'm getting to that part for sure. And I love the fact that we get to see Bwana Beast in this episode. So this is an all-out kind of a comedy episode where they're chasing Piggy Wonder Woman all over the place. And there's even the scene where she gets shot at by as a pig, and she just instinctively uses her bracelets. And then Kevin Conroy, the great sad we lost him a year ago, the late great voice of the Bats, Kevin Conroy, in order to save Wonder Woman, has to sing a song. That was so. It was so. This episode is pure fun. I mean, so much great stuff. Very well written. It doesn't cheapen the characters at all. Even when Batman, yes, has to sing to save Wonder Woman. It's just brilliant. This is a great, fun episode. I love it. Number 23. Wake the Dead. Now, this is a sequel to an episode that, well, then we'll talk about a little bit later. Wake the Dead is basically, all right, something you may or may not know about Bruce Timm. He's a Marvel guy. Yes, he did Batman the Animated Series and Superman and that stuff, but he grew up as more of a fan of the Avengers and Marvel comics, except he hates Thor for some weird reason. I don't know. So basically, they have turned a couple episodes. Hey, Keely Chow, roll tide. Basically, Bruce Timm and Paul Dini on this show. I don't know if Dini wrote this one, Dini, but Bruce Timm turned, for lack of a better term, he turned Solomon Grundy into the Hulk. And I'll explain more about that when we get to the other episode. But in this one, Solomon Grundy is dead anyway, but he was dead and buried. A bunch of dumb high school kids playing around with supernatural forces down here in Louisiana at a Louisiana high school. A college that looks like it's supposed to be LSU, but they got the name wrong. Accidentally resurrect Solomon Grundy. Indeed, world made of cardboard have just begun. Roll tide, Keely. This episode is, Grundy had died, quote unquote, died for real, I guess, in a previous episode that called The Terror Beyond. We'll talk about it later. But suffice to say, he's brought back, and he's pretty much the Hulk. He's got Hulk type of strength. He acts like Hulk. Basically, it's a very touching story where Hulk Girl had developed something of a relationship with him in the earlier episode. Ezra Goldstein. Shalom, my friend. And this in order to break this curse that brought him back, to give him peace, Shiera, Hot Girl, does have to go after him and take him out. And it's very touching. And it's a very well done, just an excellent episode. I really love it. Number 22, Injustice for All. This, of course, was from the earlier Justice League series. Man, the old Injustice gang. I hear you, world made of. The old Injustice gang, this is sort of an homage to that. Let's see, basically, Luther's getting a bunch of villains together, and guess who gets wind of it? The Joker. The return of the Joker Luther team. That's just so, that in and of itself is price of admission. We get Mark Hamill Joker Justice League cartoon. These characters, Ultra Humanite and the Shade and Cheetah and Star Sapphire and a couple of other ones show up. He forms this group, and Batman gets caught, and he's being held prisoner. And basically, Luther's plan is to break into his utility belt. He and Ultra Humanite are constantly trying to break into it because he's trying to find security codes to destroy the Justice League satellite. And then in this, all throughout the episode, Batman, after a pretty good superhero battle, Batman is caught and he's trapped. He's a prisoner, and it's hilarious because the Joker. Oh, let's see. Remember, chat from Keely Chow. I love it when someone is talking about the DCAU. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, Keely. Thank you kindly, Keely. So it's hilarious. Joker keeps warning Luther, hey, you better kill him. He's Batman. And Luther's so arrogant. He's like, yeah, we got him. He's called. Just keep him in there and watch him. And the Joker's just kind of, you better let me kill him. And he has to order the other villains, to watch Batman to make sure they keep Batman alive because he thinks he needs Batman alive to make sure the Joker doesn't kill him. And yes, it is. Cheetah and Batman make out. And what's hilarious is by the end of the episode, when finally the Justice League show up, Batman's been manipulating the villains, all of them. And he's locked in this force field and this inescapable, apparently, according to them, apparatus is holding him in there. And I love how they're trying to get into Batman's utility belt. It's pretty funny. But the whole time, Batman is just talking to them all, and he's manipulating them. And Joker's wise to them, but no one listens to the Joker. And eventually, when the Joker comes along and says, for one, you didn't fool me one bit. He goes, says, I could have got out of here anytime I wanted to, but I was having too much fun with everybody. Jay Picasso. Basically, good to see Jay Picasso. Basically, Batman was just toying with him the whole time, manipulating Luther and everybody, and Grundy, and making a backwards deal with the Ultra Humanite. Maddie's daddy, what's up, buddy? Oh, Cardinal Sin, welcome, my friend. Hey, thank you for the $1.99 super sticker. I appreciate that. You're too kind. I hope you're doing well, Cardi. Thank you. But all in all, this is a great episode. Great, prime Joker stuff. And I love at the end, of course, where Batman just tricks him and gets out and then knocks the crap out of him. And the Joker goes, you're despicable. Hilarious. Just a brilliant episode all the way around. And now for number 21. The Terror Beyond. I was just talking about the sequel to this episode because remember that my number 23 was Wake the Dead. Well, The Terror Beyond is basically an episode from the early Justice League season where, and here's something interesting about this one. Obviously, they're not just fighting Cthulhu monsters, and they're calling them Cthulhu. And they look all just like all the old classic Lovecraftian monsters. This episode is totally based on that. Well, remember when I said, Bruce Timm was a big Marvel guy? Well, this was sort of like an homage to the Defenders. Because, who didn't love the Defenders? They were just so cool, right? You have Dr. Fate is basically Doctor Strange. Grundy is basically the Hulk. Hawk Girl is basically Valkyrie. You had Aquaman is basically Submariner, who was an original of the Defenders. And then, of course, the other superheroes were there. And this was just a great two-parter where they got together just on that strength alone, where they were fighting Cthulhu and doing an homage to the Defenders. Made this one worth the price. I just love it. Great episode. And now number 20. The Savage Time, a three-parter from the Justice League season. I mean, what can you say about this one, man? The Justice League, and forgive me, Captain Finity, if I'm talking about a time travel episode. I'm sorry, but still, it's a comic book. I'm sorry. And look, comic books and comic books played around with time travel all the time, so the cartoons do too. Hey, Hunger Boy. So, someone has screwed up time and changed it. That, of course, someone being Vandal Savage, but the Justice League satellite, because of an accident with Green Lantern's ring, they got spared the time change, and they go back to Earth. Earth is all taken over. It has been, apparently they learned that it's all fascistic, and the only guy fighting it, of course, is Batman. And Batman, they learned that Batman tells them, what happened, basically the Justice League, there's an alternate future they're living in now, but the Batman at that time finds a way to send them back to the past to stop Vandal Savage from winning the Second World War. And, of course, you have great stuff with Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor. We get John Stewart, being a Marine, joins up with Sergeant Rock. We got the Blackhawks. There's some great stuff with Flash and Superman. I love Superman and Hawkman teaming up with the Blackhawks. It's just a fun ride all the way around, and it's nostalgia beyond belief in a great way. It's a really great, rousing story that's just such an homage to older comics. So it's just such a lot of fun. Hey there, Oliver Belamonte. Good to see you. Number 19. Secret Society. Another one of the early days. This time, Gorilla Grodd. Grodd is back, after an earlier route, after his earlier appearance in an episode called Brave and Bold. And he's found a way to, he found a way to infiltrate and cause dismay or disarray in the ranks of the Justice League, so much so that he causes them to break up with these, he's found a way to get into their heads, which eventually, of course, Secret Society is that this title, much like the Injustice for All in that last one with the superhero villains. It's an homage. The name is an homage to an old comic, Secret Society of Supervillains. And eventually the group breaks up. Grodd's winning this one, but like a lot of supervillains, this hubris gets in the way. He decides he wants to kill them on a grand scale. And so he puts them on the football field of, I guess, what's supposed to be the Super Bowl. And yes. And wackiness ensues, but it's a great episode where it really is about the strength and the camaraderie of the Justice League going through a really tough time. But at the end of the day, they are the Justice League, and they're going to kick ass of these villains every time. And it's really fun. It's really satisfying to watch our heroes go through this stuff and still end up. I mean, they said a lot of nasty things to each other, and at the end of this episode, they say, well, no matter what, some of the things we said, we did mean it. What are we going to do about that? And Batman and they all say, we're just going to have to get over it. And it ends on almost a sour note, but not before they kick the Secret Society of Supervillains' butt on worldwide television. So it's a thought-provoking and a fun episode. Now for number 18. Initiation. This episode could arguably be higher. I adore this episode. I'm a big fan of the Ollie Queen Green Arrow, of course, the only Green Arrow there is. What am I saying? Ollie Queen Green Arrow. This is his first appearance. I believe this would be the first episode of the, if I'm mistaken, I think this was the first episode of Unlimited. Yes, this was the first episode of Justice League Unlimited, and I mean, still, again, it's all the same show, but still, this episode is beautiful and brilliant because again, we get to see Ollie. He comes in. Batman, sends John Stewart to bring him because he thinks this group. Because now, all of a sudden, from one episode to the last, after what happened when in the Starcross with the Thanagarian invasion, they've decided they needed to start getting the superheroes all together. They need guys who are good with moral compass and guys that can rein other people in and stuff. And they know he's a headstrong kind of guy, but he's also just has a great moral compass. Does Ollie Queen. And Batman, there's a great exchange at the beginning of this when he says, "I don't know what I can do up here. I don't belong with you guys. I just help out. I'm here to help the little guy, not fight monsters and all this kind of stuff like you guys do." And Batman said, "Yeah, well, I mean, something funny thing about monsters, they tend to step on little guys." Well, GA is not convinced, so he just catches a ride in a javelin down with the others who have to go make a stop in a country with a severe problem with a gigantic chemo-looking nuclear robot thingy, which of course is a side issue to the story of proving the worth of Green Arrow. I mean, this is a being that's could give trouble to Supergirl and Captain Atom and Green Lantern, but Green Arrow being there turns the tide. And toward the end of the episode, it's just we find that yes, the Justice League needs guys like you. You don't have any superpowers, but you are a superpower. And he's a guy that I would never agree with politically on anything, Ollie Queen, and yet I've always loved him. Yeah. Say, dirtbag. That was great. I just watched this one again. I've watched this episode so many times. It's beautiful. Good old Ollie, and he's great on this show. Number 17 is Tabula Rasa. The first appearance of Amazo. Now, I wasn't super thrilled with this design of Amazo. I know they wanted to make him his own, do their own thing with the animated series, but this is a top-notch story. It's a great story. And they handled him very well, I thought. I guess, yeah, you could say there's nothing wrong with them making him. Yeah, I don't know. It's not much of a personality to the way he looks in this one, but the story's top-notch with him and Luther, and it's just he's borderline unstoppable, but that doesn't stop Batman from making him think a bit. So it's just a remarkably well-written episode. And it's excellent. So we'll make some time here. You've probably all seen it. Let's see. Number 16. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Sorry about the time travel again, Finity. Hope he's not here to run, to judge me. The Once and Future Thing. Justice League, one of the old Wonder Woman villains, Kronos. He's victim to his domineering wife and uses his he's been using his time travel belt to steal trinkets all throughout time, but just to get away from her, he goes back through time and he ends up what's it? The Justice League end up going back looking for him, and we get to see weird Western tales because it's always been again a staple of DC Comics to go back and meet some of the Western heroes, and we get Jonah Hex, Batlash, El Diablo, and it's just good Lord, it was in the first part, by the way. Well, this is Kronos, or they called him Krona, whatever. What do they call him? I can't remember what they call him now. Yeah, I thought he was. Well, my memory's garbage. Let me see. Let me check my memory. Let me check my memory banks here. Ba 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 boom. But anyway, it was great to see. Where is that? I know that was in Unlimited. Yeah, it was in Unlimited. It was Kronos for sure, but I can't remember. I thought he used to fight Wonder Woman, but no. But yeah, in the Atom. Okay, all right, Fanty. Anyway, great villain. Well, actually, nothing villain, but great in this one because of the way they handle it. It was so cool to see. Batlash and Jonah Hex. Jonah Hex voiced by Adam Baldwin, and of course this scene where they're all dressed as cowboys. Batman, Green Lantern, and Wonder Woman, and Kronos with the Western heroes, and they're playing that Justice League theme, but a Western version of the Justice League theme from season 1 and 2. And anyway, then in the second part, they end up in the future meeting Batman Beyond, and there's a great scene where Batman meets old man Bruce Wayne. What a scene that was. Yeah. And of course, wackiness ensues. Great episode. That was top-notch stuff. Even it was weird though when Green Lantern turned into Hal Jordan for a few minutes, and they're like, "I'm Hal Jordan." Who are you? It was all I'm like, "What is this?" So they never really explained it. This episode has a lot of serious timey-wimey problems that are excusable because how much fun it is, especially the first part. But the second part holds up. Getting to see, Batmans meet each other was special. Pat asks, "What's up, buddy?" Yes, Pat asks. An older version of Static Shock was in part 2. That is correct, yes. All right, number 15. Wild Cards. What a crazy episode this one is. Again, we get Mark Hamill back as the Joker. It was terrific. It was a lot of fun. It was just a crazy, I don't know how they do it. They were all managed to make the Joker just so much fun. And just to have the Royal Flush, it's the Royal Flush Gang. They're a little bit different, of course, but they change things here and there. So just a great plot where the Joker's hidden bombs all over Las Vegas, and he's made a game out of it. You got this timer, he's broadcasting it all over the place. Hilarious Mark Hamill performance as always. Just a great one. Very entertaining. And Ace is a very sad character, that's for sure. And I'm being told to do my show. And I keep turning the damn phone off and it turns itself on. Donnie Pearson. Hey there, man. I hope you're doing well, Donnie, with all that's going on, man. It's good to see you. And I just I hope you're doing well tonight, or getting all things considered, my friend. And so this is an extraordinarily entertaining, just outright, just fun episode. Like I say, it's just amazing stuff. And let's go with number 14. Number 14 is Double Date. I'm a sucker for Jeffrey Combs is the question every time. And he had a great chemistry with the Huntress, of course, even though it's the Birdman only one. And to mix it up with Green Arrow and Black Canary, could arguably higher. That's how good this show is for this one to be down at 14, because this episode is terrific. It is just pure entertainment. So much fun, so well written. A great adventure between these two couples that are fighting each other. What the dynamic between I can only say that I wish it had been at least 3 or 4 more episodes that had Green Arrow and Black Canary and Huntress in question. We needed more of these characters. We needed more adventures with these 4 characters interacting. That's all I'm going to say. So, just not much to say about it. It's just so much fun. Brilliant story. Brilliantly entertaining. Number 13. Dark Heart. This is written by Warren Ellis, well-known comic book artist. This is a disturbing story in a sense, and this is one of those episodes that is very Star Trek. I'll say that a couple of times later as well. It's very science fiction. Yes, it's superheroes. It's in the superhero genre. So you have that. So obviously there are going to be those types of elements in it. But this incredible, this nanotechnological being, that's basically this war machine that's been sent from planet to just envelop planets and overtake them, lands on Earth. And it was so great to see that Ray Palmer, the Atom, gets to be the biggest, pun intended, the biggest part of this story. And it's just amazing. It's brilliantly done. It's scary because this creature seems unstoppable. Obviously, they're the Justice League, but I love the fact that you got to see all the heroes pulled out in force. They found a good reason for them. And this one also has some elements as precursor to the Cadmus story, because the general is pretty concerned when they pull out this big gun on this big, powerful, almost like a nuke type of a laser type, or plasma weapon from the Justice League satellite. So this is prime stuff. Brilliant episode all the way around. And again, as a fan of the Atom, it was just kind of nice to see that. The Ray Palmer Atom, of course. Yes, there's that too, World Made of Cardboard. This is where, yeah. And they didn't even make a joke about it, which, it's a cartoon. But yes, they did have the Atom take a ride in Wonder Woman's that, yes. And I don't think he was complaining. Yeah, it was still, but you watch that and you go, do you guys think you might? I mean, really? Okay. Hey, Dave, did I see you pop in before, Dave? Dave, what's up, man? Welcome. Number 12. Back to the Black Canary and Green Arrow. The Cat and the Canary. Good God, what a great episode. I mean, these episodes, they're all great that we're talking about tonight. Man, I just love this one. As you can see, there's almost like a pattern going. I don't really care. None of the episodes I love are the saga episodes. Now, of course, some of them are two-parters, but I don't consider that to be a saga, because these are short, episodes anyway. They're very 20-something minutes. So a two-parter for a 21 or 22-minute show is not that big of a deal. I don't consider that to be a saga. And I don't go in for the sagas of the long arcs that much. They have that on this show, but they don't abuse it. And especially when they became, unlimited, the shorter stories, I just appreciate them so much. And this one, which is about, and again, we get to see Ted Grant Wildcat. How cool is that, man? It's got everything. It's got obscure characters. It's got Ted Grant kicking wanting to kick the crap out of was Atomic Skull or whatever. It's got the beginning of the love story between Ollie and Dinah, which is really well done. Morena Baccarin as the voice of Black Canary. Are you kidding me? Woo. So I just love it. This is just a wonderful episode. Number 11, Legends. The Golden Age heroes under different names, because for some reason they were not allowed to. I think, and again, I've heard the story a long time ago, so I didn't look into it lately, but I'm told that they were not really allowed to use the Golden Age heroes. If only they'd been now allowed. Just imagine if this could have been Alan Scott and Jay Garrick. Dave Rayborn, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, cuz. But this, nevertheless, they look great. It's a brilliant story. It's very Star Trek, this story. Because it has a really serious core to it. And I love how it comes from mainly, John Stewart's part in this is great, where he grew up loving these superheroes, reading these comics as a kid. Now, initially, they changed that over from what they were going to, I think, because it was Wally instead of Barry in this thing. And usually Barry Allen was the superhero that had a connection to comic books because he loved comics. And he had a connection to, this, they just changed it to John. But that's okay. And it's very well done. This is beautiful. A beautiful, fun, sad, and scary episode all at the same time. Just a joy to behold. I love it, love it, love it, love it. And we're getting just amazing stuff. Obviously, two-parter, like all these ones at this point. Now, we are in the top 10, folks. So we'll take a pause here. Who's ready for the top 2? Going once, going twice. So I don't even know, and I should have polled, I guess. Should have made a poll. Let me just, have you all of you up to speed? If you watched this show in a long time, when was the last time you watched it? You can tell me later when we get to that stuff. So, who's ready for the top 10? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. All righty then. Okie dokie. That top 10, my top 10 favorite episodes of Justice League / Justice League Unlimited. Let's see here. Let's see. Sorry about it. I tried to mute and I couldn't. My mouse. Sorry. So I'm sorry you had to hear that. Just a little coughing. My apologies. Hopefully it won't happen again. Number 10 is Far From Home. Now, you got to cut me some slack here. Some of you know what a fan of the Legion of Superheroes I am. This episode makes me want to cry every time. Not just for how touching it is with Supergirl. Indeed, world made of cardboard. That's very well said, yes. But this one, man, I did not care for that that Legion of Superheroes cartoon that they did in the 2000s. Just didn't do it for me. I can't stand the way they looked. I'm a very stickler about that sort of thing. If they'd done an animated series to look like this episode of Justice League, I would have been over the moon about it. I would have been so happy. All we got was this one, and we only get to see them, and look, they look just like they're supposed to for a show like that. We got to see a few of them. And again, we get to have Green Lantern and Green Arrow. We get John and Ollie with Supergirl in the future, and they're hanging out with Bouncing Boy and Brainiac 5. So that was pretty cool. We got a little bit of it. We only got to see the rest of the Legion. They don't, other than Phantom Girl, don't even get to talk. But at least they were all taken over by what's her face, Emerald Empress. And we got to see the Fatal Five in all their glory. We got to see Mono and Tharak and Persuader and Validus and Emerald Empress. And so, what can I say? This is pure Legion joy. It's a good story. And, Supergirl getting up. Instead of them killing her, that's another thing. Instead of just killing her, sacrificing her to the crisis gods, they let her relocate in the 30th century, 31st, but 30th, Yes, Neil Patrick Harris. Oh yeah, sensational voicing Brainiac 5. Thank you, Oliver. I just adored this episode so much. It's just again, granted, that's coming from that place of extreme bias. Someone who loves the Legion of Superheroes, and I do, and getting to see them in that Bruce Timm animated style with their costumes more or less perfect the way they're supposed to be, and unlike that cartoon that they had. I watched this episode a lot. Of course, I watch a lot of these episodes a lot. I could pop this one anytime. And again, I do love the way they handled Brainiac 5, who's one of my favorite Legionnaires. But look, a lot of them are my favorite Legionnaires. So I love it. I think they did do some action figures. I don't have those. I need to get those, but I have a lot of Legion action figures. I don't think I have the Justice League ones. I'm not 100% sure, Pat. I think they did. So, number 9. Hereafter. This is a gut-wrenching, just brilliant, unbelievable drama. I mean, this show has, an animated series that can do this kind of first-class science fiction / fantasy superhero drama and can be so brilliant with its characterization and heart. For those who don't know, of course, in a big fight with a bunch of supervillains, the Justice League is slugging it out with a bunch of them, and Toyman has some new weapon, and he blasts it, and he doesn't know it was kind of an experimental weapon, and he thinks he's disintegrated Superman. Everyone thinks he's dead. And for the whole episode, you're thinking that he's dead. And there's a scene in it where Wonder Woman... Oh, I would love to see everyone else's list. Believe me, I want to see what all you think, too. Everyone was horrified, and Wonder Woman almost kills Toyman, who's Mr. Howdy. I don't like the Howdy Doody Toyman. Maybe that's just me. But, so the world thinks Superman is dead, at least everyone but Batman. I love how Batman wouldn't accept him being dead. And he wouldn't go to the funeral, although he was out there hanging around, and Alfred comes into the Batcave and says, You'll be late for the funeral, says. Why? What's the point? He's not dead. And I love how Batman can't accept Superman being dead, and yet, when he does go and watch everybody at the funeral, Wonder Woman catches him looking up there, and even Batman later questions, what if I was wrong? And that's it's just amazing. They managed to add some entertaining, crazy stuff with Lobo showing up. Even that was kind of funny. The way they don't let Lobo push him around. And yet they do, because of his power, they kind of let him hang a little bit. And by the end of the episode, they're all like, what are we going to do without Superman? And then we find out, for some crazy reason, he was transported into the far-flung future. Sorry, Captain Finity. A post-apocalyptic nightmare created by Vandal Savage. And the scene, one of the brilliance about this writing, spoiler alert, we're doing spoilery things here. We're being spoilery here. Is that when he meets Vandal Savage, I was expecting, when you first see this episode, there's going to be a fight. And the change, when we find out Vandal Savage just spent thousands and thousands and thousands of years learning what a waste of time it was to be evil and full of crap, and lamenting it. And so when he and Superman just make friends and just talk and stuff like that, and he helps Superman change everything and go back, it's just brilliant. This episode, I'm sorry. It's playing around with time. I don't care. It works on every emotional level, and it's goes from being heartbreaking, gut-wrenching, even though it's Superman, he can't be dead. It still manages to manipulate that pretty well, and then have a wonderful resolution, showing how tough Superman is, even without his powers, by the way. So, what an absolute treasure of an episode. Two-parter, of course. Now for number 8. Dead Reckoning. I'm a sucker for Dead Man. I just love him. Just love him. Don't care who knows it. And Boston Brand being in this episode already starts it off on the right foot. When we get to see him at the monks of Nanda Parbat, and they have all those crouching tiger monks all over there fighting the supervillains, that was almost worth the price of admission right there. The siege on Gorilla City. Just everything about this episode is pure gold, fun entertainment. And I just love everything. You can't get any better. And then what do? They get better. Stupid ass Grodd. His plot was to turn everybody on the planet into apes. And my favorite thing about it was Luther, when he gets stopped, of course, and he thinks he's going to keep running the group. And Luther says, I wasn't going to do this for another day or two, but he blasts Grodd. And he said, that's your plan? Turning everyone into apes? Idiot. It's like Luther had been manipulating him since day one. Luther's always ahead of everybody. Luther's so great on this show. And so for Luther just to finally get tired of Grodd's crap, oh, man, it was just, that's a perfect ending to an extraordinarily entertaining episode. And then, of course, poor old Boston Brand at the end there, forced to save Wonder Woman's life, has to use Batman's body to shoot Black Manta. Snuggie Jr., hello there, welcome. It's just extraordinary. A wonderful episode all around. Highly entertaining. Again, it was so nice that they really gave us a lot with these shows. Getting to see a character like Deadman at least once was really nice. All right, who's ready for number 7? The Great Brain Robbery. I know you all know this one. Never gets old. The old brain swap, but somehow it works. You'd think, okay, they've done it on Star Trek and every other thing in the world, but it works. The accidental switching of minds from the satellite all the way to the Legion of Doom headquarters in the swamps of Louisiana is, Flash and Luther change bodies. And this, again, proves how this show can be extremely entertaining and challenging and funny. This is one of the funniest episodes ever. Ever. I mean, there's also a great imagination to it, but it is pure entertainment, especially Michael Rosenbaum in the scenes as Luther, and even more so Clancy Brown as Flash, because in Luther's body is terrific. There's a scene in there that makes me, I can't contain, every time I see it and hear it, and you all know, when Luther is in the bathroom, although he's in Flash is in his body, and Polaris is in there harassing him, and then they argue, then they're about to leave. Luther's leaving the bathroom. He goes, aren't you going to wash your hands? And he goes, no, because I'm evil. And that's even better than the line where Flash looks in the mirror with Luther's mind in there, and at least I can find out who the Flash is. And he takes his mask off and goes, I have no idea who this is. Classic. Hilarious. It was just, oh my God, so much fun. But that line's the best. But there's, again, the best one though is, are you going to wash your hands? No, because I'm evil. And Clancy Brown is brilliant, especially when he's addressing the troops. Watch yourself, my evil minions, for I am Lex Luthor, and I am. I just can't even take it. It's so hilarious. It's so much fun. And then, of course, we all know that Flash in Luther's body had little fun with Luther's hot magic girlfriend. Didn't he? I think he did. Again, hilarious. He said, that's not at all relaxing. Oh, what is the plan? Yeah, the plan. Oh, my God. Great episode, though. Just so much fun. And now for number 6. The Return. Talk about your Star Trek episodes on Justice League. Man, oh, man. Amazo's back. And at the beginning of it, he's threatening Oa. And he's coming back, and we're like, wow, you can't come back to this universe or this, and we think he annihilates Oa. You don't know if your number 1 didn't make the top. Did I mention you're a number 1 already, Pat? You don't have to say what it is yet. Just tell me, did I mention it already or not? Let me know. Because you don't know, man. This is now number 6 right here. Your number 1 may well be, unless I've already mentioned it. Anyway. Let me know if I've mentioned it. This is your number 1. Well, this episode's brilliant. I mean, look, when you're in the top 10 for me anyway, or the top 15, or even, you're in the rarefied air of greatness, brilliant stuff. They're all my whole top 25 I love. So believe me, if they're in the top 25, I love them. So my number 6 is The Return, though. Yes, Robert Picardo, brilliant voicing Amazo. They think he's wiped out the Green Lantern. I mean, the Guardians of the Universe and the Green Lantern Corps, most of the Green Lantern Corps, but all of Oa. He's coming to Earth. The heroes know why he's coming for revenge on Luthor. We think, and it just again we get to see a great part played by the smallest guy ever, Ray Palmer, Adam, which is terrific. All the heroes are just mounted, surrounding Earth to stop him, and Amazo goes through him. It's truly Amazo-ing how they handle Amazo. And then when he shows up, I love how they Star Trek their way out of it. They basically they appeal to him, and when Luthor, I love when Adam thinks Luthor pissed him off. When Luthor started acting like a jackass to him, he goes, you should have quit while you were ahead. But Amazo surprised them all, as you all know. And then I love the scene where he says, he did. I didn't destroy Oa. I just moved it out of my way. And so Star Trek of them that Amazo has evolved. And, Dr. Fate took him to help him. And we even see him in later episodes. Just a masterpiece. I mean, this episode's amazing. Who's ready to move into the top 5? Are we ready for the top 5, folks? I'm so sorry, Pat, that it didn't make the top 5, but I love it, brother. It's a great episode, man. I love it. And you probably won't agree with my top 5, and you can't because that's your number 1, but that's okay, man. All right, my friends, my top 5 starting now. Number 5 is Epilogue. Another just unreally, just masterpiece of an episode, in my opinion. Never was the biggest fan of Amanda Waller, but she's used very well here. I like Batman Beyond okay, but Terry McGuire's kind of take him and leave him. But it's just an engaging, engrossing story that takes place during the Batman Beyond era and deals with old Bruce Wayne so well. And the flashback we get to explaining something about Batman, because he's got these bad misconceptions of Bruce Wayne that, of all people, Amanda Waller set aside. The sequence with Ace is just one of the most disturbing, sad, tear-jerking thing you're ever going to see, emotionally gripping things you're ever going to see on any animated show ever, I think. It's so beautiful. It is, oh yeah. You've only watched it once? I only wanted it once? Yeah, because it's so hard. It is heartbreaking. This Cardboard says this is number 1. And you said you only watched it once? Yes. It's so sad. And it shows a wonderful, compassionate side of Batman. When he sits there with Ace and she dies, sometimes the superhero can't stop anything. Talking about it chokes me up. It's so beautiful and so, wow, man. Just wow. It's just incredible. But, man, it's just, what are you going to do? And she shows McGinnis a side of, and she thinks she helps kind of patch up things with McGinnis and old Bruce. So it's a beautiful, brilliant, sad, heart-wrenching story. But it's amazing. And that's my number 5. Victor says, gives me chills just thinking about it. Well, I don't blame you. It's so sad. That scene is really touching. Number 4, Flash and Substance. Here's the weirdest thing about this episode. I'm a Barry Allen guy through and through. I'm not the big Wally West guy. Wally West on this show sold me. He's really great. Michael Rosenbaum's great. They made me accept Wally West on this show when I'm still going to always be a Barry Allen guy. The Barry Allen episode of Batman Brave and the Bold, I love even more than I love this thing here. But this episode is ingenious because it is, again, so fun. And the title is perfect. And that's why maybe a sad episode like Epilogue doesn't rate a little higher, because superheroes at the end of the day should be fun. So I think maybe the brilliance of epilogue cannot be denied, but when you can be brilliant and fun, you get a little bit of extra point, although it's not much better. I mean, it's not, I'm not saying this is better. I do have it higher rated though. But this one I love because first of all, it's extraordinarily well written. It's got a lot of funny stuff with the villains, especially the stuff with Trickster, with Mark Hamill doing that voice, because he played the Trickster on the Flash TV show in the early 90s. It was such a bizarre but fun choice to include Orion, of all people, and Batman. The scenes with Batman and Flash and Orion are classic. They're hilarious. Having Flash Day in Central City, it's just this. I mean, if you don't love the character of Flash, and after watching this episode, you just won't love him. And it really lives up to the title. It's about Flash. It's flashy. There's a lot of substance to it. So again, you see Flash running through the city, talking to everybody. Everyone, he's like friend. He's so fast. He has the speed and ability to be friends with everybody. By the way, there's a scene in there with some blonde guy, a scientist that he works for, that's clearly Barry Allen, and I don't even let that bother me, although it should. It does a little. And you have the Flash Museum. You have, again, the Rogues Gallery meeting at that stupid bar. It's hilarious. Trying to kill him, and it's just too good for him. And the scene where he tells, when Orion sees him let his enemy, goes, well, what about your enemy? I mean, Orion thinks he's a fool. And he says to Batman, he says, they pay homage to this fool who runs around, who makes bad jokes and coddles pathetic men like the Trickster. I don't understand. And Batman just says, no, you don't. Because Batman, is Batman. He's brilliant. So he knows Flash means more to his city. He means something different to his city than Batman does to his. Flash, again, and Orion doesn't get it at all. He's a god, a demigod. And but then later, after the big fight, he goes, you hide a warrior's heart. Whatever. Batman and Flash just goes, yeah, whatever, dude. This episode is brilliant in so many ways, in the best of ways being fun. And now number 3, Patriot Act. Sue me. I mean, dude, we get Spy Smasher at the beginning, voiced by Nathan Fillion, who later voices, of course, throughout the episode and others, Vigilante with the Newsboy Legion, the little kids there, a little homage to the Kirby's Newsboy Legion. You get Stargirl, you get, basically it's the 7 Soldiers of Victory. And it's just absolutely, this is so wonderful. Yes, you got to stretch a little bit. General Eiling turning himself into the Hulk, but that's okay. It works for the episode. Getting to see, again, an homage to the 7 Soldiers of Victory. No Superman, no superpowered beings to fight this Hulk, and the valor that they show in protecting the people. Shining Knight being there. It's just, my God, I love this one so much. I love when he tells the villains, he says, stay back, villain. As we speak, Superman saves an entire star system. But we will fight you or whatever. Oh, my God, man. It gives this episode is about heroism, pure and simple. It's very entertaining, very well written. It's got that great homage, like I said, to movie serials at the beginning in black and white. But at the end of the day, this episode is about abuse, government, power abuse gone rogue, and heroism of the little guy against the superpower. And that's what the greatest superhero stories are for me, the ones about heroism. And good God, Nathan Fillion is just terrific in both voices, Spy Smasher and Vigilante. It's just so much fun. So much fun. What a great one. And I've always loved it. I can watch this one over and over again. Yes, exactly, Pat. Yes, Oliver, that was fun when he says he called this. I see why you call this man dirty. For he was scooting the rules. As Sir Justin, if you want to keep watching my TV, you name what the TV was. You better watch what you say about Mr. Clint Eastwood. All right, who's ready for number 2? Number two. My number two is The Greatest Story Never Told. More genius. And again, it's weird. As I was talking earlier about, I was never really, I was never much of a Booster Gold kind of guy. Well, thank you, World Made of Cardboard. I appreciate those words. Thank you. I was never much of a Booster Gold guy. Just to let you know, it was okay. I kind of liked him when he was hanging out in Justice League with Blue Beetle, especially. But he was never really my thing that much. He was okay. I mean, again, I like him fine now. This episode is just brilliant, though. It's, again, another story about, it's a lesson about heroism. Like, he's just in it for the fame, in it for the money. He's forced to be good when he, when he doesn't really, want to be. He's not really sincere about it. But at the end, there's a good guy in there. And it's just out and out hilarious. Whitey Orbach, hey there. And the fact is, none of them ever, he just can't catch a break. None of them ever, realize, his heroism in this story. It was kind of weird that they were fighting Mordru, a Legion villain. But it just worked, and yeah, it was just incredible. So I do clearly love this. It's just funny. You've all seen it. It's brilliant. Now, I don't have the jingle. I'd probably get in trouble anyway if I had it. But if you remember the old Dr. Demento show, when you get to number one, you have a song. And Dr. Demento, when he would get to the end of each week, when he would get to his top, his number one of his countdown, he would play, "It's time for number one. This is it. There we are. Number one. All right, Dementors and Dementites." And anyway, sorry. So, who is ready for number one? My all-time favorite episode of Justice League / Justice League International. Hey, Victor Fontaine. Oh, my God. You're too kind, my friend. Thank you for the 1999 super chat. I'm not worthy. Thank you, buddy. He says, Clobby, my daughter grew up watching Justice League with me over and over and over. Again, Justice League and Justice League Unlimited are still the best. Thanks for doing this countdown. Great memories. Well, thank you, man. I've been looking forward to doing this. I'm sad it's over, to be honest. I was looking forward to it so much. I'm sad it's almost over. But you're too generous. Thank you so much, Victor. I really appreciate that. And so anyone care to see what number one, or should I just kind of leave it to mystery? Just kidding. All right, folks. This might weird you out. I know it probably wouldn't make anyone else's number one list, but it's the one I've watched the most, and I watch it every year. My number one is Comfort and Joy. I hit the wrong thing. And the reason why I love it is because superheroes are supposed to be life-affirming and make you happy. I watch this every year for Christmas. This episode is a masterpiece of sheer joy. It is comfort and joy. It is what it says. It gives me comfort and joy every Christmas. It makes me happy. All three segments are wonderful Christmas. You've never seen this episode, Pat? Every Christmas I watch it. I don't even know how to begin to explain how much I love this one. Matt Hepburn, I will save your comment, and we'll look at that in a little bit. Anyone who wants to list your top 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, please so, and I'll save them, and we'll talk about them. Feel free. You don't have to, but I mean, if you feel like it, I'll watch for them. This episode, again, it is what it says. It's comfort and it's joy. I watch it. It puts me in the spirit of Christmas. Yes, we did, Dave. I talked about it at Christmas time. And it's, I went with the happier, more happy-go-lucky episodes to higher up because I think that's what superheroes are. And like, for example, when you make an episode like Epilogue so brilliant that I love it that much, you're doing something amazing, because I usually don't want to be bummed out by my superhero stories, but you can't help it. It was just incredible. Well, I think they got the lead-lined paper from Batman, probably, World Made of Cardboard. But this one, I see Kal-El. I got you, Kal-El. Thanks. But like I said, anyone wants to put their top 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever, 5 even, I'll watch for it. You don't have to, like I said, no biggie. But because I'm going to do some honorable mentions in a minute. But this episode, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know how to pick. If I had to put in order the 3 segments of the episode, I'd say the Flash, Ultra Humanite story is my favorite part. But I love the Clark Kent, the Superman, Manhunter, Martian Manhunter part. But the Green Lantern and Hawk Girl part's great too. And even the line where when Superman says Batman practically begged for monitor duty, that was a nice line. It is sheer comfort and joy. It's happiness. And believe me, we're going to talk about other episodes that didn't make it, that it killed me to leave off the list, that are so good. There, as I think Fanti pointed out, even though there are 91 segments, there are like 66 stories. 66. Having to select 25 out of those, when there's only like 1 or 2 I don't even like, should tell you something of how good this damn show is. And again, I think if more people would watch it, even if they're not really comics people, but if they don't mind watching animation that's good, I think a lot of people could enjoy it as well. It's such a great cartoon. I'm just man, it's just amazing. So that's my number 1. And here are some honorable mentions in no particular order. I'll just talk about, and again, there's going to be more than that, but I mean, honorable mentions, kid stuff. That World Cardboard says, my wife loves the episode Kid Stuff as her number 1. Okay, oh, great choice. I hated to leave it off the list. I love it. It's a lot of fun though. It's a pure fun episode. Also, A Night of Shadows was an excellent 2-parter from the early seasons, when we got to see Kirby's demon Etrigan. I thought that was really nice. Grudge match with the ladies being controlled and having their big fight, and you got a lot of fun stuff with that one. Twilight, the New Gods episode, where the first time we get to see Superman beat the crap out of Darkseid, episode with Brainiac and the New Gods. Fearful Symmetry, towards the beginning of the Cadmus saga. That's the one with Galeta or whatever. You get Green Arrow and the Question hanging out with Supergirl. I mean, what else? What do you need? What else you need? That's just incredible. And of course, Destroyer, the very last episode, where it's an all-out brawl of heroes. Alive, the episode before that, of course. But all-out brawl with superheroes and supervillains fighting the minions of Darkseid, and well, hey, Superman beats the crap out of Darkseid again. Which, he didn't do enough. He could have done more, I think, but what do I know? So those are some honorable mentions. There are many more, of course. Let's see. All right, so see if we have any. All right. Brian Hepburn says, my top 3 unlimited episodes in no specific order are Epilogue, Destroyer, and For the Man Who Has Everything. My problem with Man Who Has Everything, Brian, for me personally, because I'm a big Alan Moore fanatic and I love his stuff, and I don't like the way they adapted that story. They changed too much of the story elements, and they did put his name on the episode, but he probably didn't like him doing it. And they changed some key dialogue for me from the comic. But I hear you. It's a great story, for sure. Victor Fontaine said, "Oh, my daughter loves kid stuff too. Her favorite, yeah." And Kal-El says this was my number 2 pick, while Epilogue was your okay. Epilogue was your number 1. Okay, yeah. Well, look, fantastic. I mean, great stuff. We're not all that far off on any of them. I got my handle from the World Made of Cardboard speech for Superman. Oh yeah, from Destroyer. Wow, good one. And there you go. And they took, yeah. I mean, that's cool. I love it. Great stuff. And, there are a lot of great episodes, though. I mean, that's 25 of them with about 5 honorable mentions. But man, a lot of the Cadmus thing was incredible. They had, they've done. Oh my goodness! I'll just kind of tell you what. We'll take a stroll through an episode guide, just to give you an example of, and I'll just kind of talk about great ones and just flip through them a little bit, if you will. All right. So let me just I'll just read them off. Hey, the Laboratory of Mayhem. Hello there. I know who that is. Grew up watching George Reeve reruns. So did I. I love him. I mean, Laboratory of Mayhem is pretty cool. I love it. Do I know you? You look familiar to me. That your avatar looks familiar. Anyway, so all right. Well, I'll just run through some of them here because I can't really make it blow up to make it look that big. The show started out with Secret Origins. It was a pretty good, interesting story start. Considered it was a 3-parter that they did. It was a decent start to the series. I mean, they only had so much. I figured it was you, Andy. Hey, Andy. Hey, Andy. Hi, Andy. Hi, Andy. You want to go up to Mount Pilot and get a bottle of pop? So, and then you had In Blackest Night, when Green Lantern went on trial because of the Manhunters framed by Kan Jarrow from destroying a planet. They had a lot of good ones early on. The Enemy Below, which I can't stand their version of Aquaman. I can't stand the hook hair Aquaman crap of the 90s that carried over into this, personally. Then there was Injustice for All, which made my list. Paradise Lost, which, that was a pretty good one with Felix Faust. War World with Mongol. They had Brave and the Bold with Green Lantern and Flash fighting Grodd. Fury with that character, Man-Hater from Themyscira. Legends, which made my list, of course. And basically, the reason why Legends didn't work is now I kind of remember Paul Levitz didn't want him using it. Didn't want him using the JSA, which I kind of disagree with him about, to be honest. Night of Shadows, Metamorphosis. We had a Metamorpho story. It was tough leaving that off of there. It was tough leaving the Metamorphosis story off there, because I love Metamorpho. So leaving that off my top 25 was not easy. Well, again, like I said, 66 stories. Singling out 25 of them when there are a lot of great ones was brutal to me. Just like it is with Star Trek, when I did a Star Trek list like this. The Savage Time made my list. Twilight, nothing to do with the books, of course. It's the one with the New Gods and Apocalypse. That was a pretty good one. It came close to the list. And Tabula Rasa made my list. I didn't like Only a Dream much. The Dr. Destiny one, it was okay, but Maid of Honor was kind of another Vandal Savage one. Hearts and Minds, a better one. No, I'm not going to go with that. Okay, yeah, well, there's one episode that you might all disagree, but I hate. A good night, World Made of Cardboard. Thank you for being here, my friend. It was good to see you. So I guess I'll just address the one of the most famous episodes, and I'll tell you why I don't like it, because everyone seems to love it. It might make me unpopular. I don't know. All right. Well, we're supposed to be talking about things I love, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it, because we're not going to do a worst list, because there's no reason for a worst list. Most of the episodes are great, in my opinion. Let's see. However, and this one did kind of lead to Cadmus. Personally, I don't like the Justice Lords episode. A Better World is the name of the episode. And Oliver Belamonte says, the Task Force X episode, the only time the bad guys, aka Suicide Squad, wins as the acquired annihilator from the Watchtower. Yeah, and that was a good episode. That was a fun episode. All right. I don't like the Justice Lords episode, and I'm going to tell you why. I think it's a fundamental mistake for this show, and then we're going to get back on talking good stuff. But and everyone likes this. It's a very famous episode, a very popular episode. And it did lead to Cadmus, which I could have done without. Really, almost no Cadmus episodes made my list. I didn't really care for that story arc that much. But your premise here is that it's another arc, but they're supposed to be exactly like our heroes. And because Luthor kills the Flash, Superman is driven too far and he murders Luthor, as you all know. Now, that's one thing in of itself if it just ruins. I mean, I can't stand the evil Superman. Anytime you do an evil Superman trope and it's not someone's not messing with his mind, he just decides to go rogue and evil, I'm not there with you. You can do it. They do it all the time. I can't stand it personally. It's not my bag, baby. So, but not only does he go evil, the rest of the gang, and it's one thing if he does, the rest of the gang back him up. The rest of the Justice League, it's fine he killed Luthor. It's fine that he became a dictator. They all decided to become the Justice Lords and become the dictators of the world. So, in that universe, and when they see that they see a peek that there's another universe with the Justice League just like they were, except they haven't turned evil yet, and their premises, they decide to go after our heroes and lock them up so they can come to our Earth and do the same shite. I can't stand it. I hate the premise. If you're going to find a reason for these characters to be evil, something turns them evil, this, that, and the other thing. And, of course, the only one they can sway to turn back to good is Batman. Oh, yeah, the costumes are kind of cool. They all just turn evil. I mean, they become dictators. What else does that mean but evil? I mean, they take over the world. And Lois Lane even tells him she's locked up and has no freedom of the press or anything. And she even tells Clark, you're dictators. I don't like you anymore. And only Batman decides to turn. But what about, are you going to tell me all of those heroes are fine with being dictators? I just don't like that. I hate that stuff. Exactly, Matthew Powell. I hate that story. Why would you do that episode? At least find, hey, Midnight's Oblivion, good to see you there. Why would you do that episode? I mean, fine, like if they're under some kind of influence, or if you make them the crime syndicate, like that episode, we reviewed that movie, where they're not the real versions of the characters, but it just sucks. I hate it. And it did lead us to Cadmus, which was a mistake, I thought. Doesn't work for me. Just me, though. Back to the good stuff, or back to celebrating the story. Man, there's so many great episodes. Let's pull out some of the ones that stand out that didn't quite make the list. Like I said, Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis, the episode with Metamorpho, I thought was pretty cool just to see him there. I'll pull it back up first though. Pat says, I like Clobby's number one, but I think Superman should have brought Lois with him to the Kent's farm in the Adventures of Superman. He would have. Just saying, my only issue with I don't know, they weren't really together yet that much, were they? Maybe they were, but I don't know. She was with her family. He'll see her later. They weren't married yet, dude. She was with her General Lane, her pappy, probably. Kal-El says, this episode might have been the inspiration for the Injustice video game storyline. That could be. Could be, Kal-El. You may be correct, sir. The Vital We Fall episode was a surprise moment when Luther Brainiac said, no, we can do better than that. Then they formed the Brainiac drones to the Justice Lords. Yes. Now, that was a pretty damn good episode. Yeah. There's so many great ones, though. What a great theme song. Bit of trivia, by the way. I don't know which, by the way, my friend, which of the theme songs, the Justice League or the Justice League Limited, do you guys prefer? If I were to pick, and the opening credits are just so perfect for the Justice League show I like the jazzy one they have for the Unlimited, but man, that original is just so majestic. And would you believe, you might know this, might be a big deal to you. The Justice League opening theme that you mentioned there, Pat, the JL one, the first one, was taken from a Hammer horror film. You can even find an excerpt on YouTube that proves it. Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? Obviously, they altered it a bit, but yeah, it's taken from it. Is that not wackadoodle? But those opening credits are perfect. I mean, it's just just how iconic it is. That music is. Why can't we get more seasons of this? Who's in charge here? Come on. 2 more seasons? Come on, man. Oh, God. And back when it used to run on Cartoon Network, we used to get it like a year after everybody else in the world. It's annoying. Yeah, Bruce Timm's a Hammer fan, yeah. He's a lot of things, actually. Oh, boy. Oh, my goodness. But still, there are a lot of great ones that I was not able to put on here. Let me see. What's another one? Let's see another one that I was not able to put on here that I would like to put on here. There is Hawk and Dove was kind of a fun one. Everyone, let's see, what's one that you like even though it didn't make your top 25? Let's see. Let me find my list will tell me. Honorable mentions list. Alive and Destroyer, that I already mentioned those, and I had some Flashpoint. That's that. Implicates Response League help. Oh yeah, some of those Cadmus ones. Yeah. Yep. Sorry, I was just familiarizing myself with those. Yeah, the 4 DC animated series I own on Blu-ray are Batman, Superman, Justice League, and Justice League Unlimited, and Batman Beyond. They have all been rewatched a lot, says Victor Fontaine. Oh, well, yeah, I can imagine. Absolutely. BTS was the best theme ever. Oh, yeah, good. Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Oliver Belamonte says, I never noticed that Fred Savage and Jason Hervey voiced Hawk and Dove, whilst British actor Michael York voices Ares in the JLA episode Hawk and Dove. Oh, well, yeah, I didn't know if those two guys did it, but I knew Michael York was in there. Yeah. Jeffrey Combs is so good, though. Good God, man. Yeah. Divided We Fall was a great episode. Here's one that killed me to leave it off. That would be Hunter's Moon, Mystery in Space. We had 2 titles, but it was one episode. It was one episode when Vigilante and Vixen and Hawk Girl went to this planet, and they were trapped there by rogue Thanagarians who were pissed off. Let's see. If the attempted DCEU theatrical releases from 10 years ago was even 10% as good as this series story-wise, they wouldn't have to reboot it now. Absolutely, Ishness. Absolutely, Kal-El. Oh, no question about it, man. But see, Bruce Timm doesn't even try anymore. I think he was working on some of those. He just doesn't care anymore. Maybe, I don't know, because he made that one. He made that Justice League Fatal 5 thing, which was a disgrace. And they looked this kind of animation. It didn't have nearly everybody in the league in it that should be in there. And they were fighting. While they're fighting the Legion's villains, I don't even know why they would do that. And Wonder Woman had a sword for some dumb reason. They didn't act like they were picking up like the old show, and yet they looked like it. The art looked like it. And it's just like, I don't know what you're trying to do here. It's a dumb idea. But he's done a lot of dumb crap. Like he does that Gods and Monsters, and that people said they like it, but I don't really want to see monster versions of these superheroes. Just give me the goddamn superheroes. Why would you make that? I mean, what? Who wants to see monster versions of of these heroes? And again, a friend of mine says he liked it. I said, I get it, fine, but maybe if we were getting a normal dose of these heroes on their own, maybe something different would be fine. But we're not getting the main deal. All right, Pat, take it easy, buddy. You're right. Mark C would have really he'd have been here because Mark C was still with us. We'd have done this one a long time ago. We had it in the works, plans for a long time ago. So I dedicate it to him, of course, and he'd love this show. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. I appreciate that. Oh man, I'm not sure what show I will review next. I mean, I'm like as far as not review, but I'll do a top 25 next. But I would have to see. The thing is, I have to go back and watch them fresh. Watch it fresh. This one I've watched so much. I probably need to do Batman Animated again. Just go through it, and I got that nice Blu-ray of it. Probably go through and watch that Blu-ray all the way. Guagnar, what's up, dude? I watched those recently, actually. Guagnar, the 2 Static Shock Justice League episodes that were on the show Static Shock. I watched them. Boy, I tell you what, one of them, the second one had really cheap animation, but they were okay just to get to see them there, just to see them at all. They weren't too bad. I never really watched the Static Shock show that much. I got to admit. I watched the ones with Batman on them and with the Justice League on them. I think was Superman on one of them or just with the Justice League. Can't remember. Yeah, 3 if you count the future Justice League. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. But I never watched that one that much. I need to. I'll probably rewatch Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes soon and do a countdown on those favorite episodes as well. But there aren't as many. It's a problem. I'd have to do like a 10 episodes or just rank them all because there's not enough episodes of that show. Damn it. Dang it. Not enough episodes. Oliver Bellamani says, the Hunter's Moon episode shows Jon Stewart questioning Sean Jones' decision sending Hawkgirl and Vixen to outer space. Jon says, I don't take your love life into consideration. Yes. Oh, man. What's his name? Who did the voice of Sean again? Oliver? That guy was great. Oh, God. What was that guy's name? Was that Phil Morris? Or was Jon Stewart Phil Morris? Which one was Phil Morris? Dang it, I can't remember which one now. But again, I talked about the earlier in the show. The voice casting was always so great on these shows by Andrea Romano. Sorry, just terrific, absolutely, just great stuff. And you had George Newborn was terrific as Superman. Of course, naturally, you had great Kevin Conroy. That goes without saying. But I do. Oops. Thought I hit something. That goes without saying. Oh man, see, I keep hitting my button. Weird. What the hell's wrong with you? My mouse thingy. I missed a to-do task. Oh my God! No, you didn't. I got a phone call. I got a phone call from my uncle, but I can't call him back. I'm on the air. All right. Well, Carl Lumbly. That's it. Thanks, Oliver. And Phil Lamar was GL Jon Stewart. Thank you. And Sean Jones was terrific on the show as well. You know, that was one of the things that kind of I was not too happy with is they dumped him too early. And let's see what episode they dumped him too early. Let's see. He left. Flash and Substance. Yeah, he left at the end of the episode. There was a very good episode called To Another Shore that dealt with the Viking Prince. That was also a very good episode. And that's when John leaves the station, leaves the crew, and that was sad. It was sad to see Martian Manhunter leave. Wagner, how about the top 13 Silver Surfer episode? Yeah. What a so sad that there weren't more of those. So sad that there weren't more of those, huh? Oh my God. That was a great show. But what you gonna do? Well, it's not much you can do. So what I will do, however, is do a recap of tonight's countdown. Go back through them. So it'll be there for the show. Clubby, did you count down? Let's see. Did you do countdowns for Batman animated series and Superman animated series? No, not yet. I'm gonna go back soon and start watching all of Batman the animated series. Now, many years ago, I did do. Actually, yes, I did. I take it back, but I did that on my old format when I was on Blog Talk Radio a number of years ago. Batman. Oh man, good Lord, had to be 6, 7, 8 years ago now. On Batman, and about 7 or 6 years or whatever, give or take, could be more than that I did Superman. I also have done the only one I've done over here on YouTube until this one was Batman Brave and the Bold a couple of years ago, which I did my top 25 of those. So I plan to do Batman the animated series, and I'll do I just re-binge Superman. Maybe I'll do it before that. Maybe I might just do Superman in a couple of weeks, and then go back and just take care of Batman because Superman's still relatively fresh in my murky mind there. Once a Future Thing episode had a famous quote from Batman when they faced outlaw Tobias having dimensional 6-gun. Batman says, 6 guns, 6 of us. Nobody miss. Yeah. Great one, Oliver. I'll definitely do those countdowns, though. I have fun doing the countdowns. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes I get somebody to do them with me, and that's cool. But that entails asking somebody to take their time to go watch something, and even though they've seen it before, to make sure they can write out all the stuff they want to do, Kyle says, well, you can eliminate all the episodes of Superman animated series where he winces from the slightest injury. I could. But you know what? I did it last time. 2 buddies of mine we got together and we counted down our favorite episodes. It was funny. They were their father and a son combo, and we haven't done shows in years together, but we're good, still good friends with the father. But there was one episode that I can't remember. I think I know which one it was. Anyway, that was on my top list that they both hated. But then again, that was kind of like that. We're good friends, of course. We had very different episodes on our list. That was the same. We used to do lists all the time. We ran out of things to do list of. I love doing list countdown shows. And now this is just me winging it by my dumb self, hearing my own dumb voice. I like doing it with someone with me as well. It's more fun that way, but it's still, it's fine. Doing it, winging it on something like this, almost like an homage to my, sort of like I'm doing this list with Mark. I don't know which one he'd have picked, but I know he would have liked a lot of the same episodes. Obviously, it would have been in a different order, but but I like usually doing it with somebody on the other side. We did so many lists over the years over there in Blog Talk Radio, my friend Flash and I, and sometimes his son Matt, that we ran out of things to do countdowns on. We ran out of things to do lists on. We did it all, and they're not Doctor Who fans. So, but another guy and I, like back in 2010 or 11, did a favorite Doctor Who episodes thing, and I've never been able to find anyone else. This is the 60th anniversary. As much as Doctor Who's been destroyed, I'm planning a Doctor Who, favorite Doctor Who's list, episode list, and if I have to do it by myself, I will. Maybe I'll wait for the anniversary to do it. A Gantry Lawrence animation Marvel cartoon list. There you go. When Captain America throws his mighty shield. So I'm going to do a rundown now, a recap of the list for tonight, and then we'll start moseying on out of here. How about that? So we'll have one at the beginning and at the end. All right. So. And I'll do it quicker this time, obviously. Here we are. Here I come to save the day. All right. Top 25 all-time favorite episodes of Justice League / Justice League Unlimited countdown recap. A quick recap. There we go. Number 25, Question Authority. You don't have any idea how much power I'd have to give up to be president, says Luthor as he strangles the question. 24, This Little Piggy. Batman sings Buona Beast. Enough said. Oh, and Zatanna. Woo. Number 23, Wake the Dead. A sequel to an episode we'll hear from again. And a fun one as well. Well, and also very tragic and touching one as well. Hulk Grundy Smash. Let's see here. Oops, sorry. Number 22. Injustice for All. Batman uses his amazing batness without even having to lift a finger, manipulating a bunch of jerk-off criminals. And the only way, only the Bat could do what he does in this episode. Sheer brilliance with a great performance, of course, by the Mark Hamill as the Joker, as always. What a great one. Number 21, the Lovecraft villain comes to fight DC's version of the Defenders with Doctor Fate, Hulk, Grundy, and Namor, Submariner, Aquaman, and Valkyrie, Hawk Girl. But yes, so Cthulhu is Ithkalulu, or what they call him, a knockoff of Cthulhu. Good stuff, and of course, the precursor to Wake of the Dead. Number 20, The Savage Time. Vandal Savage goes back to Savage Time, and our heroes have to go back and put history right. We get to see Sergeant Rock, the Blackhawk, Steve, Trevor, and much more in this 3-part extravaganza. Great stuff. The Secret Society, as in Grodd's, a nod to Grodd's Secret Society of Supervillains. Grodd gets a big power bunch of supervillains together, and really drives a wedge between our group, really messes up, causes all kind of disarray to the Justice League. But in the end, our heroes come through because they are our heroes. Number 18, Initiation. My goodness, kick off Justice League Unlimited with an episode that just unassailable, brilliant. And I can't even talk tonight. Sorry, love it. Bring back Ali Queen. We've got Green Arrow and initiating him into the new and improved, gigantic, crowded Justice League, and a great episode that is just terrific and entertaining in every single way. And it could have been higher. And I still can't talk. I know what's wrong with me. Sorry. Tabula Rasa. Amazo is amazing in this episode. What a great adversary to be advertised, and boy, a tough one to beat. But they managed to do it in a classic. Number 16, the Once and Future Thing. 2-parter in the Unlimited season, dealing with, of course, time travel. Going back to the Old West and later into the future, meeting the Batman Beyond. And yes, Bat meets Bat. Great stuff. Number 15, Wild Cards, another wild adventure with the Joker at his jokery best. Just a great fun romp, getting to see the Royal Flush Gang like that, and just action packed. There's so much cool stuff in this episode. Again, just wildly entertaining for Wild Cards. And our number 14, Double Date. Look, there ain't no better double date on the planet than these 4. Green Arrow and Black Canary and Question and Huntress. Oh my goodness, what an extraordinarily entertaining episode, seeing these characters. And Jeffrey Combs, look, am I right? Jeffrey Combs. Good God, every episode he plays the Question should be on my list. There's one that didn't quite get there, but most of them are. Love them. Number 13, Darkheart. Warren Ellis's spooky science fiction, deep, really Star Trek-y science fiction type story, with the biggest guy being the littlest. Ray Palmer and the Atom saves the day, saves the Earth. What a great episode, and boy, we get the whole band on this one. Number 12, The Cat and the Canary. Again, if you're a fan like I am of Green Arrow and Black Canary, and of course getting to see Ted Grant Wildcat, which I am, just terrific stuff. Love this episode. Highly entertaining. Oh my goodness. Just sheer fun, sheer joy. Just cool. Number 11, Legends. Oh my goodness, the Justice Society, but not really, but close enough, because they were supposed to be, and unfortunately DC did not allow it. They just didn't want to use them for this kind of story. There's a definitely dark undertone to this wonderful tale of Golden Age throwback tale of innocence and darkness and heroism. But it's beautiful, and I love this episode. Oops. Okay, and now for the top 10 recap. We're just recapping this, folks. We showed them all earlier. Talked about the episodes in depth at the beginning. Just recapping it now. Number 10, Far From Home. Long live the Legion. As I said, I'm a Legion of Superheroes sucker, and it just got me in every way. They make them look perfect in this. It's a great, but a very touching story as well. I wish we could have got more. I mean, I would have taken a 17-parter with the Legion looking like that. And we got to see the Fatal Five, which was also cool for Legion fans. Great stuff. And a heartbreaker in a way, too, because the end of something for the story there, saying goodbye to Supergirl. Number 9. Hereafter. What a brilliant, what an unbelievably brilliant, sad, touching, yet even its parts lighthearted, fun story. It goes all across the emotional spectrum. Some great character moments, extraordinary idea, very comic book in the best of ways. This episode, Superman the Barbarian, of course. Your old toys. Hey there. Ray Palmer was played by John C. McGinley. Really? Wow. My good. I don't know that. Number 8. Dead Reckoning. Hey, we get Dead Man. My goodness. In a cracking story, by the way, with Grodd and Grodd and Luthor and the villains attacking the Nanda Parbat, basically the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon temple. We get to see a big superhero fight in Gorilla City. What more can you want? Great stuff. And it was just what a hilarious ending the way Luthor takes over. So, but yeah, good to see Boston Brand. Poor old Boston Brand. It never can get a break, can he? Let's see here. Number 7. The Great Brain Robbery. The old brain switcheroo has been done before, but man, rarely better, if ever, because what great performances by Michael Rosenbaum and Clancy Brown with their switching their characters around, but not their bodies. Flash, the Flash's body with Luthor's mind in it. How dangerous is that? A lot of fun, just a great idea. And of course, it was Clancy Brown, terrific, pretending to be the Wally West Flash inside of his head anyway. Oh my God! Again, that classic line when he's in the restroom, and of course he's Wally West inside the body of Luthor, and Polaris says, "Aren't you going to wash your hands?" No, because I'm evil. Oh, God. Never gets old. It's fantastic. Love it. Oh my goodness. Number 6 is The Return. Doesn't get much more Star Trek than this one in a Justice League episode. Brilliant story of Amazo coming back, evolving into a very powerful, extraordinarily, almost possibly omnipotent being, and being the only threat, and once again the smallest guy in the room. John really did that voice? Anyway, Ray Palmer, Adam is there. Could he save the day? Will he need to save the day? Who knows? But wow, great episode. Number 5, Epilogue. If you can watch this episode and a certain scene in particular and not cry your eyes out, you're pretty good. But it's or come close anyway, because it's just a tearjerker. It's extremely heartbreaking in the best of ways of great classic superhero fiction. When it's doing it at its best. This is a marvelous episode. No, it's not. It's a DCist episode. Don't say anything Marvel around here. It's DC. It's just extraordinary. And again, what can you say? It's just sad. It makes people sad. So sad that even people who love it have trouble watching it. Number 4, Flash and Substance. Now we go to the happy place of where superheroes can make us experience just sheer fun, pure fun. And yet, there's substance to the episode. There is Flash and Substance. Can I think of no more appropriate title than that for this? So many wonderful moments, and of course talked about earlier. Love it. Number 3, Patriot Act, the 7 Soldiers of Victory, sort of. Starting off with Spy Smasher, Nathan Fillion doing 2 voices in this one, Spy Smasher and Vigilante. J.K. Simmons is terrific as General Eiling Hulk, and of course, hey, you get Green Arrow, and even get Speedy and Crimson Avenger and the young Newsboy Legion, and you get Stargirl and Stripey, whatever, and Shining Knight. Oh my goodness, this goes on and on in a classic, fun but riveting and thrilling story of heroism, which is what these superhero stories should do. This is a great, great story of heroism. I love it. Number 2, the greatest story never told. Just amazing. Brilliant story. I like Booster Fine, but it was never like my favorite anything. This story is just so well written. it just it thinks of everything, and it's just I don't know how Mordru was in the 20th century or 21st century, but doesn't matter. It's just sheer amazing stuff. So, I've already gone all through it, but you got it. I'm sorry, I'm losing it. And of course, number one. It's time for number one in the recap. This is it. Here we are in the recap. Number one. Comfort and joy. Superheroes should be about that. Superheroes should be about comfort and joy. And every Christmas I watch this episode, and it brings me that comfort and joy. And I've watched it more than any of the episodes. It epitomizes everything that superheroes are supposed to stand for. And yet they're not fighting villains or anything so much. In fact, the one villain in there, they kind of joins forces with him, and it makes you feel good. It speaks to the elements of why we go to these superheroes in the first place when we're kids. It's just the total spirit of Christmas. And so this is my favorite episode. I love it. It brings me comfort and joy every time I watch it. Certainly there are episodes that are probably that most people would favor over it, and I can understand that, but this is a favorite list, after all, and this one just touches my heart every time, makes me feel good every time, and I love it. So that'd be it. And again, we're going to go through the honorable mentions that didn't make the cut. Destroyer, the very last episode, all out super brawl, heroes and villains fighting Darkseid. Superman unloads on Darkseid. There's also Twilight, an episode with the New Gods and Brainiac, and Superman also gets to pound Darkseid a little bit on that one. You've got Grudge Match, the ladies, fun, great episode with Black Canary and the Huntress, and really well done. And of course, a bunch of the other super ladies. And there's Night of Shadows. Etrigan, the demon, gone, the form of man, rise the demon, Etrigan. And that's a great story about him and Morgan Le Fay. Fearful Symmetry, kind of kicking off the Cadmus stuff, or getting close to it anyway. I think stuff you get the question in Green Arrow. Enough said right there. Also, Galeta appears in that episode. And then kid stuff. More with Morgan Le Fay. The Justice Leaguers get turned into kids, obviously. I'm sure you're familiar with it. And still, even as kids, can save the day. So great stuff right there. Just what a great show this is. What a great show this is. Justice League / Justice League Unlimited. Everyone here has probably watched it, but if you have not, I highly recommend it. If you like superheroes, give it a chance. You never know. You never know. Thank you so much, Victor. I appreciate you being here. In fact, let's see that I'll be here. Let's see. Show notes are basically simple. The show notes are I will be here. Oh, I won't be here tomorrow night, obviously. I think, now I don't know for sure, but I think the Great Mark D with the C might be having a special unboxing show of some kind tomorrow, but I won't put that for sure because I don't know. Oliver Belamonte, yes, I saw that. The trailer's out. Where were I? Okay. So Tuesdays and Thursday nights, of course, at 6 p.m. Central. I'm always at the great Midnight's Edge After Dark with the extraordinary Tom Connor and that great group. Wednesday nights, I'm usually when Loki has the roundtable at 7 p.m. on his illustrious channel. I join those folks over there and have some good friends with my buddies, talking comics. And then Wednesday night, I'll be right here, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time for the Wild Card Wednesday night. And then, of course, Thursday night, same time for the Clubhouse, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time with Raquel and Mark. And I can't wait for that. 8:30 on Friday nights at the great Nick Weiser's channel for the Friday Night Comic Show. I'm not sure what we're doing for that show this week, but maybe something. I don't know what, though, exactly. And, of course, Saturday night, Star Trek, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Same. Trek time, same. Clobberin channel with 4 more episodes of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So that looks to be a lot of fun, as always. And, again, all Sunday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern at the great Mark D's Sunday Night Geekery, of course. So I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me tonight. Oh, thank you, Lady Miss. You're too kind. It's always lovely to see the lovely ladies pop by. I really, really appreciate it. You guys are okay too. Don't get me wrong, but you're guys, When a lady's here, it's special. We don't know that, but I'm sure you all agree. What's that, Dave? Okay, finally back. Oh, we're stuck at the hotspot Twilight Zone. We're watching the countdown while live in the chat. Weird. Oh, that's cool. So, I got you. Well, no, but it's casual. We got all our all the countdown out of the way now. So, and the recap even. So there we go. Which I always like the recap. So let's see here. I want to shout out my great wrenches. The great Eric K. Thank you so much, buddy, for everything you do. The Bronze Wrencher, the Chris Persia, Vindicator Wrench of the North. Thanks so much, my friend. Appreciate you. D. Bud Martin, Wrench of Iron, who I will have pretty soon. We're coming up. He's going to be on. We're going to review an Iron Man comic very soon on a Wednesday night. And I'm looking forward to that. We'll get it all announced and everything when we get all the details completely ironed out. The great Lord Thoth, God of Wrenching. And, of course, shout out to your lovely better half, Lady Thoth, and Avon lives, and long live the Legion. My partner in crime on Earth B, the Wrench Without Fear, J-Man, and also we're coming up with an Earth B trip very soon. In a couple of weeks, we got one of those for you. We're getting that ironed out right now. Another trip to the Earth of Bob Haney, Earth B. Hungry Boy, the master of the Claboni, artist supreme and painter of cover of Science Fiction Tales by R.M. Briggs. Thank you, buddy. HB. Cal L. Buddy, Super Wrench Supreme. Thank you for being here tonight. And, of course, the great Maddie's Daddy, I think, popped in for a second. Wheeler the Vinci Meownia. And Thor from Vegas. And, of course, Fanty Outsider was here, the Rascally Wrench. Yep, it's great to see you all here tonight. And so I will shout you all out because you've been so cool to hang out with me tonight. It's you got plenty of options out there on the YouTubes. I'm not worthy. So why not just put the chat all the way back and just thank every one of you for being here with me tonight. I want to thank my buddy Paulie from Latino Slant popped in earlier. Let's see here. Brian Hepburn, thank you so much. Appreciate you. World Made of Cardboard. I think I had to leave, but shout out to you anyway. The great Dave Bob was here earlier. Dave Bob, stay strong. John Driggy, Rupus was here. Victor Fontaine, and thank you so much for everything. Appreciate you. The aforementioned lovely Lady Mist. Matthew Pounder, thank you. Jeff Morris, thank you for being here with us. Minimus was here. Thank you, Minimus. Grim Dark, thank you for being here with us tonight. Claude Sally, thank you. Let's see. Dave was here. Hey, thank you, Dave. And Dave Rayborn, of course. And Keely Chow. Roll that tide, Keely Chow. Let's see. See if I got everybody. Cardinal Sin, thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Jay Picasso, thank you. Oliver Belamonte, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Donnie Pearson, if you're still here, buddy, shout out to you. Thank you. I am so sorry to hear about your loss, sir. There's nothing anyone can say. That could even speak to something like that. So all I can say is my condolences, my friend. I wish there was something I can do. I know there's probably nothing, but if I can, give me a holler. If it's within my power, I'm willing. But you take care, my friend. And just hang in there. So no one could say anything adequate, I know. Pat S. Yo, bro. I think he had to run, but Pat S, shout out. Let's see. I think I got No, I got the Daves. I got the Daves taken care of. Snuggy Jr., thank you for being here with us tonight. Let's see here. Andy Masterson popped in. I will never forget that. Andy Masterson, buddy, if you're still listening, or either if you're not, either way, shout out to you. And thank you, sir. It's always an honor to have you here. Let's see. Up and here, Mighty Orbots was here. Hey, thank you, Mighty Orbots, for popping in. I appreciate you so much. Appreciate everybody who shows up. Really do. Anyone out there lurking, I appreciate you. Anyone out there watching this on a download or a rewatch, thank you so much. Please leave comments if you have any about, well, your opinions of the episode and the list and all that stuff. Or the episodes, that is, and what you think of Justice League. I would love to hear them. Midnight's Oblivion was here. Thank you. And Gwagnar popped in. That's right, oh, buddy. Gwagnar. All right, Gwag. Your Old Toys. Yay. Good to see you, too. I think I probably got everybody. Oh, Dadman Walking popped in at the last week. Dadman. Well, I'm glad to see you, buddy. Thanks for popping in there. So, again, hey, look, thank you all so much. It's been a great pleasure, a great honor to have you here. So, have a remarkable week and a great week, please. And, well, I hope to see you out there on the streams. I'll be around. So, have a good one, my friends.
Get those nerds! 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 What?
It's Clobberin time!
No bloody A, B, C, or D.
Clobberonimo! I just love clobbering time.